Dun, dun, dun.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Stay Tuned. It's episode 50, Tom. Did you know that? It's episode 50.
I do now.
Yes, it's episode 50. Let me get
Good with
closer here.
numbers.
Yes, 50. 50, halfway to 100. Yes,
We did it.
we did it. Good job. Thanks, Mom. I'm glad you believed in me. I think.
Hey, Mom.
But, yeah, it's been a busy week, to say the least.
Yeah, for you it has been.
Yes.
Been a little busy.
Yes, it has been.
Couple
But,
life changes. Maybe just one.
yeah,
but-
maybe just one. But, yeah. So, what was our last episode? Sunday. Yeah.
49.
40. See what you did there. Yeah, top 5 wrestlers of all time. So today, a little bit different. We're going to be talking about NXT TakeOver Dallas, WrestleMania, and
Because we're nerds.
Batman v Superman, because we saw it yesterday. Or I saw it
Yeah.
yesterday, Tom saw it Thursday and yesterday.
And yesterday.
So, you can...
Because I love Batman.
Batman. Actually,
Batman.
I will say, though, I did like how they did his voice in this one. Much better than...
I like how they always do his voice.
Well, much better than Christian Bell's. Christian
Because
Bell's
if
felt-
I was a
felt
billionaire
forced.
playboy, just because I'm, not a billionaire yet, I would definitely, and I was a well-known figure, I would want to disguise my voice.
Okay. All
Am I
right,
dumb
so
for thinking that?
no. So let's talk about just a quick, like 5 or 6 minutes of Batman v Superman. So what'd you like? What didn't you like? And I guess what'd you think of it overall? Like, would you recommend it or not?
So you sound like a robot, and I don't know if it's my internet or
It's probably mine.
I don't know. But yeah, Batman v Superman. It is getting awful reviews, and a lot of people are just like, "This is the worst movie I've ever seen," and then there's like a handful of people that are like, "This is the best comic book movie I've ever seen," and neither of those are true because it lands right in the middle. So I'm a big Batman fan. Tim, you like Batman somewhat, right?
Yeah, I like Batman.
But so Batman has always been number one for me for comic book heroes. No one else even comes close. It's all I watched when I was a kid in terms of comic book stuff. I read comics, all that kind of stuff. So as a big Batman fan, I am extremely happy that the best part of the movie was Ben Affleck as Batman. And there was a lot of people that were talking some smack about Ben Affleck when he was cast as Batman, which, and I know you feel the same way that I do, that doesn't make any sense because Ben Affleck is a fantastic actor. Yeah, he made some bad movies when he was younger, about 15 years ago, specifically like Daredevil and Gigli, that weird movie with...
I thought it was giggly.
I think it's pronounced Geely, but it definitely is phonetically pronounced as giggly. So, it's dumb as that
Quagmire. It's like a Quagmire.
Yeah, giggly. But he is a fantastic actor, as evidenced by movies like Argo and The Town and crap, that movie with Matt Damon from like 1998,
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting. I was gonna say Finding Forrester, but that doesn't make any
I've
sense.
never seen Good Will Hunting, but I knew exactly what you're talking about when you said '98
Yeah.
with Matt Damon.
So Good Will Hunting is an amazing movie, but he is a fantastic actor and director, so he understands what goes into a good acting performance, and he is awesome in this movie. And it's a little too early to say whether or not he's the best Batman or where he ranks on that scale. But for me, he's probably number one or two.
I would agree with
Um,
that.
so Christian Bale was a fantastic Batman, and he was a pretty good Bruce Wayne, but he didn't quite. He pulled off more of the menacing Batman type figure rather than the Bruce Wayne kind of side. Um, which I mean, he was still good, but whatever. Uh, Michael Keaton was a pretty good Batman and a pretty good Bruce Wayne, but not that great overall. And George Clooney was a fantastic Bruce Wayne, but a really bad Batman. And then
Terrible Batman.
Val Kilmer is neither.
Just
So
both bad.
and Adam West, that Batman is just a completely different Batman. That might as well not be the same.
That's like that's like the DC's like sub like basement universe.
That was a different universe.
It's also like in
but
the
I think
'60s.
he pulls off
So
the best like combination of the two, and it kind of helps the fact that this is an older, more grizzled Batman. Everyone keeps saying it's like the Dark Knight Returns and all that from the comics. It kind of is. It kind of isn't. But he's not nearly as old as in that comic. But he's definitely older. He's been through some stuff, as evidenced by the what we think is Jason Todd, his Robin suit that's in his Batcave. Ha ha ha, you did this or something like that. But clearly he's been through some stuff. And so Ben Affleck really portrays that in his Bruce Wayne, where he's going into Metropolis, seeing it getting destroyed, and clearly he's had some people in his family die, like his parents.
Well, as always, right?
He needed to explore for the millionth time, which I hated at the beginning of this movie. But when he sees that tower collapsing, it's like, who's responsible for this? He sees Superman is responsible, and that kind of kicks off his hatred for Superman. And then Superman thinks Batman's bad because he like
because he's like I think it was because he saw him as the judge. Like there's pictures, judge, jury, and executioner. Because there was a single line in the movie whenever he branded people. You see it in the trailer. He brands a guy that's like a death sentence whenever you're in prison. It didn't really go into too much depth, but it just said that's like a death sentence in prison.
Yeah, and Batman and Superman go about things different ways. Batman uses fear to get what he wants, and he's not afraid to beat people up that may or may not deserve it. And then Superman is all good and mighty, and he's the greatest person of all time, and he has nothing wrong with him. So I think Ben Affleck was great. I think Henry Cavill as Superman is okay. I don't really think it's his fault that Superman is boring, because I just think Superman is boring in general. Jeremy Irons does a great job as Alfred. The two, Alfred and Batman,
he does.
Their interactions
is the best combination of Alfred and Batman ever, I think.
Yeah, so Michael Caine's going to be my favorite Alfred, just because I love Michael Caine so much.
He was good, though. He was good,
but these two together, though, are fantastic. And Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is great in the limited screen time that she does get. I think both as Diana, the regular person, and as Wonder Woman, she does a great job. And the action is great, of course. Zack Snyder is not a great director, but he sure can make some cool-looking action scenes. So that was good. And the worst part of the movie is easily Lex Luthor. So Jesse Eisenberg plays Lex Luthor, and Jesse Eisenberg played Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Network. And that's fitting because he plays Lex Luthor as if Mark Zuckerberg was like a paranoid schizophrenic. and was also part Joker from The Dark Knight. Um, Lex Luthor to me is always like this. I use this example, and I hate Donald Trump. Anyway, we're not going to get political, but he's kind of like a Donald Trump figure in terms of like he always wears suits, he always tries to look presentable, he always tries to look better than everybody. He thinks he's better than everybody else. He talks down to other people.
Super smart guy too.
Yeah, and he's smart, which Donald Trump isn't. But anyway, but he's supposed to be a super smart guy who takes things very seriously and is coming up with ways to try and beat this all-powerful god that's known as Superman. And instead, in this movie, Jesse Eisenberg is like, "Well, welcome to LexCorp. It's my dad's name, but I run it now. Well, I'm shooting hoops, so I've got a shirt with a monkey on it." And it's like,
it's Cherry.
yeah, it's really weird, and it's like, it's just like, dude, calm down. He's like, he tries to be real jokey throughout the entire movie. None of the jokes are funny. In the most awkward scene I've ever seen in my life, he is talking to a U.S. senator to try, because he wants to import some kryptonite, and he's trying to get this guy to let him have a customs import for it, and he's talking to him, and they're talking, and then all of a sudden, he just grabs this thing of Jolly Ranchers, unwraps one, goes, "It's cherry," and just sticks it in the guy's mouth. And like
you said, if the guy would have like been talking and not shut up, and he would have done that, it would have been okay.
Yeah, it would have made sense. Like, I hate the way that they're doing this character in this movie and going forward, but it would at least make some sense. I could understand why he did it. But it just does that, and then the scene is over.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense
whatsoever. The guy even looked extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah,
like, I'm not
and
sure
I was uncomfortable.
I'm not sure if it was the character was supposed to be uncomfortable, or if the other actor was actually uncomfortable. But either way,
it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense.
Because he's just like, it's cherry.
Yeah, and so the whole time Lex Luthor does really cool stuff in terms of like being a supervillain, like importing, like the whole thing of like trying to get this kryptonite imported legally and trying to get the government on his side. That's cool, but the way he goes about it, his character and what he does just doesn't add up. Like, the dude is an evil dude, and that's awesome, but he needs to be menacing and not look like a complete moron, which is what he does throughout this movie.
And he's too small to be menacing. Like, you haven't seen Daredevil yet, correct, on Netflix?
I watched half of the first season.
So, the guy that plays Kingpin, have you seen him yet?
Yeah.
Really big white guy. I think he would have been a great Lex Luthor in this, because he's
too fat.
Well, yes, I would agree, but he could have lost some weight, obviously, because actors, they go through those transformations like day and night. But just like the way his presence was, he was very intimidating, is what I'm trying to get at, I guess. Like, not necessarily that he would have been one, but somebody that looked something similar to him would have been great as Lex Luthor, rather than Jesse Eisenberg, who is like a $130, $140. Like, Batman could probably just pick him up and break him in half with one hand.
Yeah. So at the end, and this is somewhat of a spoiler, but not really. I mean, because you would think, how do you get to Superman? You use Lois Lane. So he's next to Lois Lane, and he has her, and she's wearing high heels, and they're like the same size. She's a little taller than him. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And at the end, his head gets shaved, and so it's like, he actually looks pretty good there, but he is pretty short. As much as I hated Smallville, I think that the guy that they got to play Lex Luthor in Smallville looks the part. But anyway, he sucks. But story-wise, I think the movie's okay. I think they tried to do a lot, way too much in like one movie, and there's a lot that goes on in the 2.5 hours that they had. And the fact that Zack Snyder has a 3-hour director's cut is just mind-blowing. I mean, I can understand where he cut out some stuff, but it's just like, guys, damn, this movie is really, really long. And like, they introduced the Justice League, kind of. They introduced the other characters that are going to be in the Justice League in like the laziest way, but also kind of funny way possible, through an email. And like, the little videos that they show are really cool, because it's like, oh yeah, there's Cyborg, there's the Flash, there's Aquaman, but it's just like, oh, he sends it in an email. It's just kind of stuff. But yeah, and there's some stuff like, why at the beginning they see that there's this alien ship in the sky, and there's still people in these huge, massive buildings, and they only evacuate when Bruce Wayne calls and says, hey, you should probably evacuate. It's like, you guys are dumb.
Well, they might have been
So they might have been like, you know how you get the term like horror struck, or like what's the word I'm looking for? Like where you just can't,
Awestruck.
yeah, you can't look away. Like no matter what
Yeah,
you do, like maybe that's just my only explanation I
yeah.
can have for that.
But
Like,
it's like
but I agree with you. I agree
shit's blowing up
wholeheartedly.
around you the whole time, and
Uh
it's like,
oh.
why aren't you there? And then Bruce Wayne's car has lights on top of it. I don't know, that's dumb. But they like they do like 4 or 5 separate like dream sequences slash
Premonitions.
callbacks and premonitions, and it's just like fucking stop. Like
It
there
was
are too many.
confusing. It was confusing.
Yeah,
And
it's like
you get your first one like 2 minutes into the movie.
literally the movie starts and it's Bruce Wayne as a child running away at his parents' funeral, falling into the well, and then bats lift him up into the air as if he's God himself,
But he's
as
like
if he's
dreaming or
Jesus
something like that.
Christ risen on Easter.
I see what you did
But he
there.
lifts him up and he's like, and then he wakes up and it's like, oh my God, guys. And we just saw his parents die again. Like, we know his parents die. That's why he's Batman. But the things I liked was the action, Batman, and all that. There's one scene, the Granny's peach tea scene.
Yeah.
Once that happens, everything up to there is kind of slow. There's some good parts, like Bruce Wayne doing some detective stuff, which I really like that they kind of focus on the detective aspect of him. Um, and that first scene where you see Batman with the cops and stuff, I thought that was cool. It kind of plays into the whole fear thing. Um, but it's really, really boring. And then that scene happens, and a lot of stuff, a lot of crazy action stuff happens after that, which is good because that's where the movie finally picks up the pace. Overall, I'd say it's probably like a 7 out of 10. Like, this movie is not bad. People are like, this is the worst movie I've seen in years. Are you serious? Like, get a grip. But it's also not a great movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Like,
So I
I'm
I
happy I saw it. I'm happy with what it is. I don't care about a Justice League movies going forward, especially if Zack Snyder's directing them. But I really want to see a standalone Batman and standalone Wonder Woman movies because those two were awesome.
yeah, so I pretty much agree with everything Tom said. I gave like a nice in-depth review last night on Joe Diesel's Half Hour of Power. He had a 2 hour special. I know it's Half Hour of Power,
Ooh,
right?
2 hours.
But I called in. I talked like the second hour a little bit about what I liked, what I didn't like. But just to highlight a couple things I didn't like. So I really liked, uh, like you said, Batman's intelligence. Uh, figuring out that kryptonite is going to hurt Superman, and just seeing Batman rip a sink out of the wall and hit Superman over the head with it. Fantastic. 10 out of 10
Yeah,
right there. 10 out
yeah.
of 10. But
So
also,
Batman would have totally won if he wanted to, which
yeah,
is awesome.
yes. But the one thing I didn't like is how quickly the fight scene just ended. Like, it started, like, it took a little while to build up because stuff was happening. I don't want to give it away. But when the fight scene started, it was really good. Then it just kind of ended. I didn't really like that. And also, it was like, he's like, just save Martha, which I never realized that Superman and,
Yeah,
Martha from Kansas and Batman had the same mom's name until then he said save Martha. I was like, Martha Wayne's his mom. Then it's
yeah,
like, Thomas Wayne's his dad. Like, I just know that. And then he's just like, bro, we have moms. Let's hug it out. It was like they were best friends then. It made no sense to me
yeah.
whatsoever.
I
Like,
mean,
how do you go from hating somebody stone cold wanting to kill them, about to kill them, and then they say like the safe word, like the safe word like in bondage or something, I guess. Like, Martha.
yeah.
Oh, my bad, bro. Come
It
here.
was a
Come
it
here.
was a little too sudden, and like I had the same thing where I was like, oh my God, Martha Kent, Martha Wayne. Oh crap! How did I not notice that?
Yeah.
But yeah, but it was kind of weird. I mean, it's like Batman's supposed to be like, Superman doesn't care about us. He could just kill everybody no matter what. But then he's like, oh shit, Superman actually does care about people. He's, other than his crazy abilities, he's just like us. He has people that he cares
Yeah,
about. He
like
has
I never thought
he
about it. Then
humanizes him for Batman, but
there's
it was just like, oh, Martha.
yeah, there's so during the fight scene, what I really liked about Ben Affleck and just the character of Batman in this was that he was saying stuff like when he does something to him, he's like, "Do you feel that? That's fear. That's
Yeah,
what humans feel. But you're not human." Then he starts beating the shit out of him again. It was awesome, and he kept
yeah,
saying stuff like hinting at him like, "You're not human. you're not a human, you're an alien, you're not me. That's why I'm trying to kill you, or whatever he's doing pretty much. But then when I called in yesterday, Jesse, the other half of Joe Diesel's half hour power, he pretty much said like, well, the way I looked at it whenever he said that, like, yeah, it was kind of sudden, but he realized that he kind of was human at that point, and I was like, that makes sense, like, because he realized like, oh, you have a mom that's a human, and you love this woman that's a human. Okay.
Yeah.
But once again, I still think it's kind of sudden, because like they went like a complete 180, because then Batman runs into Martha Kent, and he's like, yeah, I'm your I'm your son's friend. I'm like, oh, we're friends now.
Yeah, and like I like that part, and I thought it was funny.
It was funny, yeah.
Says, but it also seemed kind of weird that he was like, I just got kidnapped and I almost got flamethrower to death, and it was like, let's make a joke about capes.
Yeah, but
overall, the biggest disappointment with this movie, I think, is that like the entire thing was spoiled in the trailers.
Yeah, so I say like I said this last night on the show as well, that my hype for this movie 2 years ago when they announced it was pretty good. So it was like a 5 out of 10, we'll say. Ben Affleck was announced, I jumped to like an 8 out of 10. I was one of those guys that was super excited because I didn't like Superman. I didn't like Man of Steel. I've never liked Superman. I didn't like Man of Steel that much. But then it was like an 8 out of 10. Then Jesse Eisenberg gets cast. I'm like, you know what? I'll see what they can do. Because I said the same thing about Heath Ledger being the Joker, and I was completely wrong. I will even admit that I was wrong. I thought Heath Ledger played an amazing Joker, whether he's the best or the worst. That's neither here nor there. I think he did a fantastic job. But so I was like, I'll let them, make their choices. It's not going to change anything. Then I saw what I call the Doomsday trailer. My hype was still like at a 7 or an 8 because time had went on, so it probably dropped down to like a 7. My hype went down from a 7 to like a 2.
Yeah.
More of like I feel like I have to watch this movie out of necessity, just because it is a Batman movie, and it's just a comic book movie, rather than I really want to. When I look at like, but the other trailer they released recently was much better. If they would have released that one and only that one, rather than the Doomsday trailer, as I call it, would have been better, because in the Doomsday trailer you see Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, which makes sense. I know they're trying to show off Wonder Woman, but you see them all standing together ready to fight together. And it's like, this is Batman v Superman, not Batman and Superman.
Yeah, and yeah, I was the same way, where it's like I was super excited and like I'll watch anything Batman's in because I love Batman. Even that stupid Suicide Squad movie.
I'm excited for that though.
Ugh. But I can't stand that movie. But
you've never even seen it yet. Anyways, go on.
Can't stand Jared Leto. Anyway, but yeah, it was just like, guys, we really just spoiled the whole thing. Like, clearly Batman and Superman aren't gonna kill each other. Clearly something's gonna happen, but like, really we're gonna spoil the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like in these trailers.
But if I have to look at it, when I look at movies, I don't look at how much people are like, I wasted $15. Well, I spent like $30 between movie, popcorn, drink, stuff like that. But I look at it as time. Was this worth my time? And to me, yes, it was. I enjoyed for the most part, after we call it the Granny's Peach Tea scene. If they would have gotten rid of the whole political side of this and focused maybe on just him and Batman, and maybe like him being a deity, like he's not a god, but people look at him as a god because he's all powerful or whatever, then I felt like if they would have cut out the political stuff, they could have had more time for other story, rather than Senator Finch and all them trying to be like, well, maybe we need to put restraints on him, because I feel like Captain America Civil War is going to do a better job about that than Batman v Superman did. But
yeah, I think so too. And because they kind of, now that you mentioned it, they kind of do focus on the same.
Yeah, because in Captain America Civil War, if it's anything like the comics, Iron Man is like the political guy that says, yes, we need to have restraints on what we can and cannot do, and Captain America is like Batman, or like Superman, pretty much like, no, we don't need restraints. We do this to help people. That's why we do it. We don't need to be restrained and have other laws. But we'll talk about Captain America another day, I'm sure. But overall, yeah, I'd say the movie 7 to 8 out of 10. I'm actually kind of glad that I saw the Doomsday trailer, because that lowered my hype. If my hype would have been higher, I felt like I would have been a little bit more disappointed. Not disappointed to the fact of where I would say the movie sucked. I would just wouldn't have probably given it a 7 or an 8. But yeah, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, I loved having her in the movie. Even though she was in there she was in there quite a bit as Diana, like 3 or 4 scenes. But that last scene as Wonder Woman was pretty awesome, seeing her fight. And even though Batman's like, bro, I'm just a human, I can't do anything against this thing.
Yeah.
But it's
I love
really
how
good.
Batman's just like sitting in the corner with a gun,
He is.
with a grenade
He's just,
launcher, and he's just like, I'm gonna pick my spots because I'm just a dude.
yeah,
That's why I like Batman.
because he was. One other thing I didn't like it was kind of like a laughable moment, not like a bad thing. Whenever he got done, Tom, your camera off.
I know. It's because my
But,
screen went off, so I'm trying to fix it.
But anyways, one other thing it wasn't a bad thing, it's something I just didn't like, was whenever Batman fought Superman, he was like in an iron mech type suit, and then all of a sudden he was in a non-iron mech type suit like 30 seconds later, was like in a normal
Batfit.
normal Batman outfit rather than the mech suit, which was
Yeah.
okay, but it was just kind of weird that he gets in the plane and he's like, hey bro, I'm in a normal suit now. It's like, but half your face of your mask was missing, now you're in a normal suit. But
Yeah.
whatever. Anyways, moving on. Let's move on to wrestling, because this is a month of wrestling. We're already like a half hour in having talked about wrestling.
That's okay. So the reason I like wrestling is because it's the same reason that I like comic books, which is the whole underdog, good guy, bad guy sort of thing.
Yes.
And so I liked Batman because he is, even though he's like a super genius and he's super rich and all that, and he's very strong, he's like the underdog. He's like Daniel Bryan fighting Brock Lesnar. He's just a dude, and all these other people are like freaks. They're like some kind of freak. And so he has to devise ways to beat these big guys. So that's why I like wrestling the same way I like
All right,
it's all about good versus evil, underdogs versus big dogs, Roman Reigns versus everybody.
All right, so let's talk about NXT Takeover Dallas. It's this Friday. But let's look at the matches. So we'll just go down these as they order on Wikipedia right now. First match: Austin Aries versus Baron Corbin. I want Baron Corbin to win. I want Baron Corbin to be elevated to the top of the NXT roster and possibly the next champ, because Sami Zayn's leaving. Finn Balor he's pretty much on his way out, and Samoa Joe isn't going to be there much longer either. So Baron Corbin can be that top dog for somebody like Austin Aries, Apollo Crews, who's fantastic. But I'm not even sure if Apollo Crews would even hold the title. But I feel like if Baron Corbin gets the title, then Apollo Crews would be like a nice face to take it off of Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Whenever Baron Corbin leaves or whenever, whatever happens. But I feel like that would be a nice feud to see. What about you?
So I think Baron Corbin has grown leaps and bounds even in like the past year. From where he was when he first debuted, just doing squash matches against guys, and it was just the most boring thing you've ever seen in the world, to now he actually has character and all that, and he actually says stuff. So he's a much better talker. He's a much better talker than he was ever given credit for and ever given the opportunity for. He's never going to be as eloquent as like Austin Aries was in his promo for this match on last week's NXT, or Kevin Owens, who's probably the best promo cutter in all of WWE other than Paul Heyman. It's just because he doesn't have as much experience. But like when we saw them live, and he was just jawing at people in the crowd who were yelling at him, it was great. Like he's such a good asshole character that I really do like him. I don't see him beating Austin Aries, only for the fact that Austin Aries has never had a match in NXT, and I think it would discredit this guy that they're trying to build up as like, oh, I have all this experience and stuff, by having him lose to Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin might win by DQ or something like that, but I don't really see Baron Corbin winning. However, I do agree with you that Baron Corbin needs to be NXT champ, because he, first
Well,
of
I'm
all, he
just
deserves it. He's worked his
yeah.
ass off. He's really good. We need a heel NXT champ again. I feel like NXT doesn't really work so much if it's like, without it being like super face versus super heel. Um, it only really worked with Neville and Zayn because those two are just absolutely incredible. But yeah, it would be good. He would be a good one to feud with Apollo Crews, for the title, and for Crews to eventually take it off of him. And they can always call back to like, oh, at that last takeover, you beat me and it embarrassed me and whatever. I had to work my way up here. You were just handpicked. You came from football. You're handpicked to be this champion. Blah 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 blah. You're an arrogant asshole. So I agree with you on that one. I don't really see Baron Corbin winning, but
I'm just
Austin Aries is amazing, and so I am looking forward to this match because Baron Corbin is growing leaps and bounds, and I think he can have a good match with Aries.
yeah. The only thing I'm worried about for Baron Corbin is if he loses this, just kind of like what happened with Bray Wyatt, like just getting set back. Like I don't think NXT doesn't really happen like the main roster does, I guess, but I'm just worried about him getting set back a little bit because he loses to Austin Aries. But if you said like if he disqualifies himself and Austin Aries wins, or if it's just an amazing match that goes back and forth to the point of where Austin Aries barely pulls out the victory, that would be kind of cool too.
Yeah,
Next match, I'm sure you're excited for this one as much as I am, but the Revival versus American Alpha. Go American Alpha.
Yeah, so if American Alpha loses, I'll eat a hat, because the Revival have been champs for so long, and they're great. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
They're such good heels. They're great workers. I don't like their name, the Revival, as much as I liked the Mechanics, but it's still a pretty good name because they're kind of old.
They
school.
fought. These two teams fought at NXT at Indy, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. In a
And
2 out of 3 falls match,
which was so good. And Jason Jordan, he didn't get pinned because it was in his hometown, which was great. But he was fantastic in that match.
Yeah, so Chad Gable is, if Chad Gable doesn't become a huge superstar in like NXT and the main roster, that'd be a real shame because he's
Bryan.
essentially Kurt Angle 2.0.
I feel like he's like the next Daniel Bryan.
So he's more Kurt Angle-ish, I can see, because of the wrestling background and the whole Olympic stuff.
Yeah.
But he is kind of small like Bryan. He's bigger than Bryan was. But he's kind of small, so that makes me a little nervous that they're not going to push him as much as he needs to be. But the dude can talk, and he's an incredible wrestler. And him getting beat down and beat down and beat down, and then tagging in Jason Jordan, who I don't think could ever really be a singles guy, but he's an amazing hot tag guy. That always works so well because Gable's like doing all this crazy wrestling stuff, and then some bigger dude beats him down, and then Jordan comes in and just destroys people.
Clothesline, like flying suplexes, like it's so good.
And his like spear into the corner is awesome, and it looks crazy because he like hurls his entire body at them. And he drops to his knees afterwards, but it's like it just looks like if you got hit by that, you would just be real bad.
Yeah.
So I hope American Alpha wins because they deserve it. They're fantastic, and it's time to get some new champs because the Revival have had it for a good while now, and they've beaten like the Vaudevillains, who I think suck, but whatever.
Yeah, that's such a weird
At least
gimmick.
their gimmick sucks because it's like, we're the meme brothers, but. Even though they are good wrestlers. Like, they beat the Vaudevillains, they beat Enzo and Cass a bunch of times. It's time for a change in that tag division, but, I mean, I think that the main roster would ruin them, but I think the Revival would be good on the main roster, like, going against a New Day or somebody like that, where they're just like, we're just going to beat you up, so you can shut up.
Yeah.
We're just going to beat the crap out of you. So, this will be another amazing match, because these two teams work really well together.
They do.
So, I'm envisioning new tag champs for show.
I hope so. Next match, Apollo Crews versus Elias Sampson.
Ugh.
Go Apollo Crews.
Yeah, if Apollo Crews doesn't win in like 7 minutes, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Elias Sampson. His gimmick is dumb. Is real dumb. and he's just real boring. So there's a great future ahead for Apollo Crews, and I don't really see any for Elias Sampson. So
Nope.
I think
He's
a
the Eva.
loss by
He's the Eva
if
Maria of the
Elias Sampson
males.
wins, I will be extremely surprised, and that would also be a horrific move for Apollo Crews's brief so far NXT career. That'd be awful.
Next up, Zayn versus Nakamura. I don't care who
Yep.
wins. This would be a good match.
Oh my god, this is going to be an insane match. So,
Would you say it'd be
Nakamura-
in Zayn?
Oh, yes, it will be insane. So Shinsuke Nakamura is like the best wrestler in the world right now, in terms of just like total wrestling ability. And the fact that he's going against one of the other best wrestlers in the world is just fantastic. I mean, this will be a good send-off for Sami Zayn, so I think Nakamura wins to establish him and to kind of send Sami off to the main roster. But this is going to be a hard-hitting, stiff-as-hell match. Like, Nakamura is stiff. Just hitting you in the face with his knees, hitting you in the stomach with his knees. Like, the dude is awesome. Like, his match with AJ Styles at Wrestle Kingdom 10 in January was just insane. Like, the two of them had an amazing match. He's definitely, like, the biggest character in New Japan, so I think it'll be cool because it looks like they're letting him keep his like same ring attire and all that. His theme song changes, which that's too bad, but they don't have the rights to the song, which is what was our intro song today. But he's just such an insane character, and the fact that he's such a good wrestler going up against Sami Zayn will make it an amazing match. Hopefully they get like 20 minutes, I'm hoping. I don't think they'll probably get that much, but this is going to be an amazing match.
Yeah, I agree. It'll probably be stiff, but I think the next match is more stiff. But Bayley versus Asuka. Asuka is brutal. When we saw her here, she fought. What was it? I think was it Emma? Yeah, she fought Emma. Man, I thought she broke her in half like twice with the rear view, or she calls that the rear view, or whatever it is.
She actually makes it look like
that hurt.
Really hard hitting.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know who I want to win this. Like, so I kind of want to see Bayley come to the main roster, but I do want to see Lynch and Banks feud a little bit. Maybe get Natalya in that picture as well, with maybe Paige and Charlotte. So I'm not sure if we really need another diva to come up, or women's wrestler, because I don't like calling them divas now. Because when I think of divas, I think of like Kelly, Summer Rae. Like,
hey,
women
Summer Rae is a good wrestler.
Whatever.
Don't talk shit about Summer
But
Rae.
Eva Marie, how about that? Is that better?
Yeah. Yes.
But
that's the best.
Layla or Lola, whatever her name was back in the day. But yeah. So I look at the women nowadays, like, you know, they actually are like wrestlers, and you know, we could use another heel. Because Charlotte's obviously a heel, Becky Lynch is a face, Sasha Banks is a Stone Cold, because she's supposed to be heel, but she's so over that she's a face. Natty's typically a face. Paige is
better as a heel.
Yeah, she can kind of go both ways.
She's kind of in the Sasha Banks.
Yeah, where it's like, I love Paige and I think she's great, but if she tries to be a heel, I'm like, I want you to win. She's like Seth Rollins to me, pretty much. But so I kind of don't want to see Bayley come up, so I want to see Bayley retain. But I feel like in the next 6 months, maybe by SummerSlam, Bayley will probably be on the main roster.
I would say SummerSlam would be good for her, because like the Divas have finally started to pick up the pace in terms of storyline stuff, because like the whole like
300 and something days that she was supposed to keep the title.
Yeah, and like the Divas Revolution was crappy.
Nikki Bella.
Like, that
I couldn't think of her name. for some reason.
Nikki Bella's reign was just like
it was forced.
CM Punk / AJ Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very forced. And now that they're finally like the whole Becky versus Charlotte angle was awesome. The fact that they were putting all three of them into it now, and what's been going on lately has been great. Like, other than Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar, I think this is. I mean, storyline-wise, I think they probably have the best build. But in terms of matches, I'm looking forward to, which we'll get to later. But yeah, we'll see, because like I could see either of them winning because Asuka hasn't lost yet. Um, but like Bailey's so popular, and yeah, I don't really see her going to the main roster. I see the loser of Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe going to the main roster, and I see uh, Enzo and Cass going to the main roster
Yeah, I
after
don't.
WrestleMania.
So, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, so on the main roster, here's a question for you, just because we're talking about divas right now.
Yeah.
Do you think there needs to be another women's type of title, whether it's a tag title or another women's title for the females to feud over, because we're getting so much good talent in the divas division now? Having them feud over just the divas title, it it feels like you're leaving people out at times. I'm not sure if you agree or not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. So I think the easiest answer is to say a tag title, but I don't think the way that
Or
they do female storylines right now works for a tag title. I think they need a kind of intercontinental championship because, like,
or even like a women's title. And so I kind of want to see the brand split come back, but that's something we can talk about for like another show. Like have a second world title and have a second women's title. So then you have two lower titles for the men, the U.S. and the Intercontinental. Put the U.S. on SmackDown with the other, what's called the World Heavyweight Championship again, and then the WWE title with the Intercontinental title on Raw with the Divas, and have the women's on SmackDown, or something like that, to where you can actually kind of have an identity for people and give me a reason to watch SmackDown, instead of saying, hey, watch SmackDown because, you know, the New Day is going to be on there, and Triple H and stuff, bro. It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So I hate the brand split.
well, I can see why you could too. Like, I'm not a fan of it, but I'm just thinking with all the talent we have now, it feels like they're
Yeah.
just wasting talent at this point. That are just
Yeah,
sitting there
so
like, I'm worried about when
that's why I think,
Cesaro
like, in-
comes back. What's he gonna do? You know, what's Seth
well,
Rollins gonna
they're
do?
not going to do anything with him because
We know that, yeah.
they have been. But like, I think in terms of the male side of things, they have the titles are fine. Like, they need to have some of those non-title feuds because that's, you know, wrestling isn't necessarily all about titles. It could just be like, I hate you, you hate me, let's fight. But yeah, with the women, with the amount of talent that they have with, you know, Sasha, Becky, Charlotte, Paige, Summer Rae, Natty, Bailey, like, I feel like a secondary title would be good. Um, you know, whether it's like an intercontinental thing, or since I love Lucha Underground so much, I love the idea of the Gift of the Gods championship where it's, you know, or even like if it's a Money in the Bank type thing, like I'm going to have a title shot at some point. Like,
Yeah.
I love that concept. And I think that might be a good thing if they had to defend like their Money in the Bank briefcase or something. I think that would be kind of cool. Just to give them that same kind of opportunity there. So yeah, I think the women definitely need a second goal, like a second championship or Money in the Bank or something.
Yeah,
like
because
that.
when you look back, like even like the Attitude Era, you had what? Lita, Trish, Sable, um, uh, who else was there? There was only like 4, maybe 5 major players in the Divas
Yeah.
division. Like right now, I mean, just looking at everybody, you got Alicia Fox, Nikki Bella's gonna be coming back. You got Naomi, you got Snuka's daughter, Tamina. Yeah, Tamina. Then you got, you know, Paige, Natty, Charlotte, Becky, Sasha. You're looking at like 10 to 15 people on
They're
the
having
Divas
Lana
roster.
start wrestling.
Yeah,
It looks like.
Lana, Summer Rae. Then if you bring up Bailey, Asuka's gonna be up before long. Like, you're gonna have like 16 divas. They can't just feud over one title. It would just,
Yeah.
because then you just have like, you might have 4 people there like in the title-ish picture and the champ, so 5 people. So like 11 people, we'll say, are just sitting out doing nothing.
Yeah, so I think they need something like that. Because, yeah, it does. There are just a lot of people right now where, you know, like, I don't know what's going on with Paige. Like, I'm glad that she's still popular because she's great, but, like, she literally hasn't done anything for, like, 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, she hasn't even been in the ring, hasn't even made an appearance on TV.
Yeah, like, she just does main event now. So she's being treated as if she was an Alicia Fox when... Even
But
though
she-
Alicia Fox is not a bad wrestler, she's not great.
But she's letting the other divas like take the forefront right now, which is really great and really mature of her though, because she had that WrestleMania
if
moment
that's her
last
fault.
year. Yeah, it
But
might not be,
she's too
but
good. She needs to be in the title picture, but...
which she probably, I think she will be after after WrestleMania is over.
I hope so, because she just hasn't done anything in a while. So yeah, I hope there's a secondary thing for them.
Yeah. All right. So then, so the last match on NXT, Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe. So with the other thing of Bullet Club coming over, I feel like Samoa Joe might win, but I don't want to see Finn Balor debut with the Bullet Club the next night. Like, it would be cool, but I kind of want to see Finn Balor completely. So this happened with Kevin Owens. They have to go back and wrestle that one last match in NXT for like their title rematch clause. Or if he loses it, he goes to the main roster of the Bullet Club. He just doesn't come back and just doesn't acknowledge that he has a rematch. I would like to see that.
Yeah,
This happened before.
I don't know who wins this one because the main roster needs more heels, and Finn Balor is an amazing heel from his New Japan run, and Samoa Joe is obviously a great heel. So I could see either of them winning, and I feel like Samoa Joe might win because I do think that the Bullet Club, or Bulletproof, whatever they're going to call him,
Balor
is going to
Club.
debut the night after WrestleMania. Just because, like, they've been hinting at it for a long time now, and Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows have been just kind of not doing anything for like 2 months. So I feel like it's time to debut them. You know, how that works out, I don't know, but I see them as being heels when they debut, even though they're going to be super popular and everyone's going to cheer for them. But I could see, like, I think Samoa Joe works better as a heel, and I kind of think Finn Balor does too. But I could see Finn Balor, you know, a double switch happening where, you know, Finn Balor turns heel on Samoa Joe and Samoa Joe turns face. You know, something like that. I don't know. Like, something's going to happen, I feel like, and I like that I don't know the outcome to this match and Asuka versus Bayley, because it actually gives it some kind of, like, feel of, like, oh, anything could happen. Like, I feel like American Alpha has to win against the Revival. But, like, for both of these matches, I don't know what's going to happen, all I know is that it's going to be fun.
I see 2 titles switching hands. I don't see 3.
Yeah.
But I see the tag titles and probably the NXT champion title switching hands. I think Bayley's going to win, and I think Samoa Joe's going to win.
Yeah.
But if you had to look at the card for TakeOver, what are you most excited for? Which match?
Nakamura!
Same. Nakamura and Zayn. I'm looking forward to that. All right, so let's move on to WrestleMania. So WrestleMania is this coming Sunday. So we're probably not going to do a show on Sunday because we'll probably be hanging out on Sunday and watching WrestleMania. So we probably won't do a show. But we'll do a show on Monday, probably like WrestleMania Fallout, be the last part of our WrestleMania month. But so it doesn't say on here what's the pre-matches, but 1 second.
The Andre the Giant
Oh, never mind. There it
World
is.
Battle Royal, I think, is pre-show. Pretty
Yes,
sure.
there's 2 pre-shows on here. Sorry. Sorry, I have to keep coughing. So, Andre the Giant Battle Royale. The people that we know are in it right now: Kane, Big Show, I think The Miz. I'm trying to remember who else.
Bunch of people that don't matter.
Yeah, I want to see Kane
The
win
Miz
it.
is actually in the Intercontinental match.
Oh, that's right. He's in the ladder match. I was looking at
Lions,
yesterday.
I think, are all in this match except Luke Harper because I think he got hurt.
He did. Yeah. I don't want to see Braun Strowman win. I would like to see Kane win because Kane needs to win something, and Kane has put in probably the most time out of anybody, and the Big Show won it last year. But once again, winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royale doesn't mean jack.
I think they only had Big Show in it last year because for every single Royal Rumble that's ever been since he debuted on WWE, it's been, he's a giant. How are they going to eliminate him? He's definitely going to win. And
Then,
he
like-
never won any of them.
Then like
And then it
Kalisto
was like,
eliminates
you
him
won
or
a Battle
something.
Royal.
Yeah.
And that way you can stand next to the thing and go,
Yeah.
Andre the Giant's son.
All right. So then we got.
I think Braun Strowman wins, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah, me neither. Next match, we got the Usos versus the Dudley Boys in a tag team match.
Yep.
Okay.
So, I don't like the Usos because in terms of like their characters, because I think they're boring, but they always have really good matches on pay-per-views.
Yes.
Like their matches with the Wyatt family, with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, like after WrestleMania 30 and stuff, were freaking awesome matches. But it's just like I don't really care about their characters at all, and like whatever the Dudleys, I really hope that they give Bubba Ray a
Singles push.
singles run because he's awesome as a singles wrestler too.
What was his name?
But Bully Ray.
Bully Ray, yeah. Bully
But
Ray.
it's like, I think this will be a fun match, but there's literally no point to it. Other than one time the Dudleys, like, put the Usos through tables after they teamed up.
It's just a generic. I think it's just a generic face versus heel
Yep,
match. But,
the time filler.
All right, so let's start at the. So this looks like it's backwards on here.
Yeah, let's not start with that other one.
Yeah. So let's start at number 9. Kevin Owens in a ladder match versus Sami Zayn. Kudos to Sami Zayn, by the way, wrestling on Friday with Nakamura
Dude,
and coming
yeah.
back on Sunday.
He's not just wrestling in any match on Fridays. Wrestling Nakamura,
Yeah,
who's going
which
to give him
is
some good knees to the face, and then he's going into a ladder match. Like,
yeah. So
thank you, Sammy, for dying
versus
for us.
Dolph Ziggler versus Zack Ryder versus Sin Cara versus The Miz versus Stardust. So this is pretty much a repeat of last year, which is kind of disappointing to me.
Yes,
except for the fact that except the fact that Kevin Owens has held on to his title and hasn't really lost to any of these people leading up to this match. That's the big difference. But yeah. I want to see Kevin Owens walk out as champ, but I want to see Sami Zayn almost win it and then start a feud with those two so that way they can actually have good singles matches.
Yeah, so I would love to see Kevin Owens walk out as champ because I love Kevin Owens. He's my second favorite wrestler of all time, according to last week.
If it's not Kevin Owens, I want it to be Sami Zayn.
So I don't see Sami Zayn winning it.
I don't either, but
Just
I'm
because.
saying if it.
So first of all, little rant. Why isn't Sami Zayn getting crazy cheers? Do not enough people watch NXT?
Probably not.
He's been getting some shitty stuff, so I think he needs to have a promo of like, I'm Sami Zayn. Here's who I am. Here's my history. Here's why me coming back and fighting Kevin Owens and eliminating him at the Rumble is a big deal. Somebody posted that online. I think it's a great idea. But it was really weird on SmackDown, which, by the way, SmackDown has been way better than Raw consistently for like the past months because it's less talking, more wrestling. And Kevin Owens is always there. Sasha Banks is always there. So, you know. But Zack Ryder stood tall at SmackDown and pointed to the WrestleMania side. And he did a Rough Rider on Kevin Owens. What?
No,
It was insane. It was like, what did I just watch? So, I like Zack Ryder a lot. And, like, even though he's supposed to be, like, this douchey character, I love the woo-woo-woo. I think it's so good. But I don't... Yeah, like, I feel like there's no... Sin Cara, The Miz, and Stardust are all in here just as fillers. So I don't think any of them win. Ziggler I could see winning. Just to give him more credibility and stuff like that.
It'll be kind of out of left
Ryder
field, too.
might win. I don't know. Like, he did a Rough Rider on Kevin Owens.
But what about what's the other guy, the hype guy? in
Mojo
NXT?
Rawley?
Yeah, Mojo Rawley
Sucks. Yeah.
with the hype bros, like.
Yeah, I was more surprised that they're not doing something like if Zack Ryder has a singles thing as opposed to a tag run with as a hype bro. Like that's kind of surprising because they've been doing a lot of main roster house shows and stuff. But if Kevin Owens doesn't walk out champion, the reason why I think is going to be that Sami Zayn is going to cost him the title, and then they're going to have their little feud.
Whether it's for the
And
title
then
or
they
not,
could
I
just
just think
keep
they'd be a great match.
Yeah, so, and that's why I could see it happening, because then it gives credibility to both of them, and, you know, it kind of kicks off their feud. And then in the future still, it's not, you know, since this feud would not be for the Intercontinental title, it's just for bragging rights. Like, then, you know, hey, Kevin Owens wins a title, or Sami Zayn wins a title, and the other one comes out. So, I don't know. I hope Kevin Owens wins, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah. All right. So then the next match it's weird that this is the next match, the United States Championship match. Kalisto versus Ryback. Hashtag Team Kalisto for me.
Hell yeah, Team Kalisto.
Yeah, so Ryback
I like
just kind of
Kalisto a
like,
lot.
has been like bullying his way into this match. It seems like,
Yeah.
like, hey little guy, I think the big guy should get that title. It's like, why? What'd you do? You were the IC title champ or IC champ and you lost it after like
Yeah.
2 months. Like, look, bro, you had your title. You're on the books. You deserved it. I get it, but let it go. Yeah, just let it go.
Yeah. So
Frozen, just let it go.
they had uh, the evil song for me, the opposite of it, the anti-theme song.
This will be our closing song,
Yeah.
just for you.
Like we both were like, yay, Ryback won a title, but like I don't need Ryback to win a bunch of titles. But yeah, so I love the fact that he's not wearing a singlet anymore because he looked like a goober, and now he looks cool with his just black tights that say,
With like his gloves and
yeah, like he looks like a badass because it's not like he was like fat. Then they were covering it up with a singlet like Bo Dallas, which by the way is like the best looking. Also, Bo Dallas, the Battle Royal. Anyway, for Ryback, like he's gonna win, which is just mind blowing. That Ryback's gonna win a title at WrestleMania, but it's just like this match is just like all of a sudden thrown together. I wish they would call back to the. I think it was King of the Ring. No, it wasn't King of the Ring. It was some tournament that they had. I forget why, but Kalisto beat Ryback in it. It might have been King of the Ring. And it was like it was actually a surprisingly good match. So I have some hope for this match, even though I think it's gonna be like 8 minutes at most. But I wish they had called back to it all because now it just seems like Ryback's like, I'm big, you're small, gonna beat you. Okay.
it's like Sheamus all over
I don't
again.
see Kalisto winning this match at all, which sucks because I really like Kalisto, and I don't want them to pair him with Sin Cara because I think that's just like the kiss of death. But
And also, he's too
that's
good.
kind of how I see it happening. And legitimize Ryback as a heel. That's fine. Have him do some crazy heel stuff, like just beat the shit out of
Like,
Kalisto
lose-
way more than necessary.
Like even
Do
if like
something.
even if Kalisto
Yeah.
like beats him with like a roll up pin, and then Ryback just starts attacking him.
Yeah.
So like Kalisto keeps the title, but like put Ryback as a heel because I've even said he feels more like a heel character to me than a face.
Oh, he
But
definitely is.
it's just that stupid feed me more. That's why he's not really over. It's kind of like the Jack
His
Swagger.
chance is over.
It's like the Jack
Yes,
Swagger.
like Jack
We the
Swagger.
people. The chant is over, but whenever Jack Swagger wrestles, you're just like, yay.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna stand up and say "feed me more," or I'm gonna stand up and go "we the people," even though I hate this guy.
Yeah, like
so
when he was at Indy, I did it, but like I stood up, was like, "We the people." Then I sat down. But you better
Yeah.
believe, whenever Seth Rollins was in the ring, I was like, "This is amazing."
and then that one kid was like, "Yeah, we're friends," and then we were like, "Go,
We're not
guys."
But
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I see Kalisto losing to Ryback, which is just gonna be bizarre.
so then the next match is no longer a tag team titles championship match.
Yep.
It is just a 4-on-3 handicap match. The New Day, so all three of them, Big E, Kofi, and Xavier, are facing the League of Nations. Sheamus, Rusev, Alberto, and Barrett.
And Rusev.
I said Rusev, didn't I?
No.
Oh. Sheamus, Del Rio, Rusev, and Barrett.
There we go.
I don't know why this match is happening again, but it is.
I wish it was happening for the titles, and it was something where it was like Freebird rules, Freebird rules tag title match. With the Freebirds being inducted, it's like, hey, it's 4-on-3, first team to get a pin wins, something like that. But yeah, it just
Yeah.
seems like real thrown together at the last minute.
Yeah, I don't. So these guys, they just fought at Roadblock. Well, it was Big E and Kofi, and I want to say, was it Rusev and Del Rio? I don't remember who it was. But anyways, so I'm not sure if this is trying to get the New Day over as faces, because they already are.
Yep.
They brought out Francesca. That was like the super face move they could have done.
Yeah, and like they've been beaten down on Raw like 2 out of the last 3 weeks. So they're
Yeah.
definitely faces, like full blown like storyline faces. Yeah, it just kind of sucks that like there's no real heel team to go against them, which is kind of why I hope the Revival comes up or something, or because I don't see Enzo and Big Cass going against him now that they've turned him face, because then it's like, why did we bring up this super face team from
Yeah.
NXT? Something has to happen where it's heel versus face, but yeah, it's just kind of weird. And I wish that the tag titles were on the line just to give it some kind of weight to it, but mainly I just care about New Day's entrance because I have a feeling that it's going to be incredible.
Yes, I'm excited. I want the New Day to win, of course, but I could see that they switch this to a 4-on-3 because the New Day is going to lose.
Yeah, I could see that too, where they just get beat up again and something happens.
Yeah, and if you haven't,
like Mark Henry comes out wearing a unicorn horn or something.
So if you haven't yet, check out Up Up Down Down on YouTube. It's Xavier Woods.
Yes.
Austin Creed's his actual name. It's his channel, and it's amazing because you actually see like all the characters of the New Day. You see all the roster of WWE, like out of character. So like they have different names as well. So like what is it? Kofi's is like I can't remember what Kofi's is, but it's hilarious because it doesn't seem like it fits at all. But
Big E's is Big Wool because he sweats a lot, as if he was wearing a wool sweater.
Yeah, but like
Sasha is the boss.
Rusev's on it, Sheamus is on it, Bailey's on all the rosters on it, and it's amazing.
Seth
Check
Rollins
it out.
is champ. Yeah, it's great.
It's okay. We got a baby crying.
Dude,
But,
with your robot voice, which has been going on this whole time, and I kind of love it because you sound like a transformer. That sounded real creepy.
All right, so moving on. I don't think we're going to talk about the Divas Championship too much because we talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Sasha.
I'm okay with Sasha or Becky winning. I prefer Becky, but yeah. Moving on. Once again, another fight that we've talked a lot about. Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar.
Dean.
I think Lesnar's going to win, but this is going to be a brutal match.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
I think... by the way, I'm loving the stuff on the last 2 Raws where these like hardcore legends are like gifting Dean Ambrose
oh god, yes, that
their
was awesome.
toys. Like, I have a feeling this next week's is going to be Tommy Dreamer and the kendo stick. But I love the fact that he got Barbie, the barbed wire bat from Mick Foley, and he got Terry Funk's chainsaw. Which, like, Terry Funk is still wrestling, and he's like 1,000,000 years old, and he's probably had more concussions in the history than anyone else in the history of the world combined. But just seeing Dean Ambrose like sawing a table in half in the middle of like the restaurant was hilarious.
Awesome. So then this match has had some more stipulations attached to it now, but Shane versus Taker. So now if Shane loses, he loses honor and birthright and whatever is in the briefcase or whatever.
Yeah, the lockbox.
So, but if he wins, then he gets control of Monday Night Raw, which is kind of making me also think of a possible brand split because, well, he just wants Raw. Then Stephanie would be like, well, I guess I'll take SmackDown, like as if it's like the stepchild or like the ugly cousin that they have to take care of rather than like the hot cousin or something like that, which is a weird analogy to use, right? But
I only take care of my hot cousins.
But also, if Shane wins, Taker can no longer wrestle at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm thinking it might be Shane. But I'm thinking that maybe, everybody thought Taker was going to go out at WrestleMania. But didn't Taker debut at Survivor Series? Wouldn't it be kind of fitting for him to go out at Survivor Series?
Yeah, I mean to go full circle, but I think he has to lose. I think he has to go out at WrestleMania.
Which I get it. It'd be like,
attached he is to WrestleMania. Just like how Shawn Michaels had to, retire after WrestleMania and all that.
But I think it'd just be kind of cool to see somebody else retire at a different show rather than WrestleMania.
Sting retired at Night of Champions.
Unintentionally, though. But actually, he has never even said he's retired yet. But
yeah, that's true.
It's just rumors.
I just don't see it happening with his neck.
Yeah, but I think it'd be kind of cool to see Undertaker like the big guy, like the last of the last of the last. that remains from the Attitude Era besides Triple H, who doesn't really, I don't consider Triple H a full, Big Show and Kane. I guess, yeah, you're right. You got me there. But I'd like to see Taker go out like at SummerSlam or Survivor Series, like one of the other big four, as I call them. So, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania are like the big four.
It would be cool, but I just don't see it.
I agree. But I want Shane to win. I think it just kind of spice things up on Raw. But if anything, maybe Taker wins, or even if Taker like walks out on Shane or something. But you kind of can't because it's no holds barred street fight. So, or sorry, it's a no, it's just a regular match. Sorry,
Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell. Yeah, Hell in a Cell.
So there's no DQ.
Yeah. So it's not like he can, there's no countouts or anything either. So it's not like he can get out of the cell and just walk away because he'd be like, oh, the match never ended.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think Shane wins somehow. How that happens, I don't know. Whether it's the Undertaker giving up on purpose or somebody interferes somehow or what. I see Shane doing it, and yeah, I hope so. Just because Raw needs a shakeup.
Yeah.
Raw sucks.
All right. So moving on to the last match. Triple H versus Roman Reigns.
Oh.
I'm just going to say now I want Roman Reigns to win just because I don't want to be wrong. Can I do that? Can I do that?
I think Roman Reigns is going to win because, duh.
I want him to win so that way I'm not wrong whenever we talk about it next Monday.
Or because the only way that Roman Reigns doesn't win is if something insane happens like last year when Seth Rollins cashed in. So.
But there's no cash in. Sheamus already cashed in.
Seth Rollins comes back John Cena comes back, has a briefcase. Guys, I found this. Got it.
This is the one I had like years ago that I set the match for and I lost.
Yeah, like oops.
Because I'm John Cena.
Yeah, I feel like Roman Reigns is gonna win, and I won't give a shit.
No,
I want to see Triple H's entrance though, because
I think it'd be really cool once again to shake things up if Triple H actually won. It would kind of like throw that predictability out the door. Like last year, we were like Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, and they're like, oh, Brock Lesnar's contract is up like 2 weeks after WrestleMania or something. It was something like that. Or it was like CM Punk where he had to get like a 2-week extension to cover WrestleMania. So like he did that, but then it was like, oh yeah, Roman Reigns is gonna win, blah blah blah. And I think we talked about it. I said, well, maybe Seth Rollins will cash in, and that way Roman Reigns doesn't win. But then it was like, hey, Brock Lesnar extended his contract, and everybody's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, like this is kind of cool because now I don't know what's gonna happen. But then like my original prediction that I wanted to happen like 2 months before the match even happened actually happened, which was kind of cool. But without the possibility of Money in the Bank or anything like that, like it'd just be so cool to see Roman Reigns get screwed over twice in 2 years at WrestleMania. So that way, whenever he's in the picture, probably next year for the WWE Championship, and if he wins it, it's like, hey, here's your payoff, kid. You've gotten beat twice at WrestleMania now.
Yeah. So I hope if he does lose that he needs to turn heel. Like, regardless of what happens, he needs to turn heel. Whether that's he loses again and he just becomes a whiny baby and just like beats the shit out of everybody because I didn't get my way. Like, that's fine. Or
this could even be like
somehow he sides with the authority and he wins. That's fine. Something, because like I don't want Triple H to be champion anymore, but I also really don't want current Roman Reigns to be champion. So
maybe you could have like the double turn like they did with Bret Hart and Stone Cold.
Yeah, something like that. Like, something needs to happen to shake things up. And, like, it might be kind of cool if Triple H wins and Shane is won, and then Triple H is champ, but Shane's like, look, buddy, you got to wrestle every week. Or something like that, where that kind of makes something interesting. I don't know. I just don't see Roman Reigns losing, which is too bad. But if the one night a year that Vince McMahon might change his mind to increase ratings would be WrestleMania.
Yep.
So he did it last
year.
And
it'd be super nice because it would just be like what you said, like it'd be just like a curveball. Like I did not see that coming.
Yep. Because wrestling is at its worst when it's predictable.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, out of all the matches on WrestleMania, not NXT, which one are you looking forward to the most?
So in terms of just match overall, it's Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. In terms of storyline stuff, I want to see what Shane McMahon and The Undertaker do, but I love Sasha Banks. So
you're going to see Sasha Banks. So I'm most excited for Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. I think it's going to be brutal. I want to see the wrap up of, like you said, Shane McMahon and Undertaker, and I'm really excited for the New Day's entrance.
Yep.
They talked about they wanted to. I saw an article. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but Big E said that they had talked about the possibility of riding unicorns around the stadium.
Yeah.
And he even said, "I'm like, that's ridiculous." He's like, "I'd call it 50-50 right now." It's just like, and I was just like, I was like, don't tease me now. Like that's like saying like, hey, here's a bowl of ice cream, and I'm like, can I have it? No, you can't have it yet. You gotta stare at it for like 2 hours. I'd be like, that's not fun.
Yep.
But
so I hope Big E gets a title shot, gets the title at some point in the next year or two, because he's fantastic. But yeah, I think the best match is going to be Ambrose versus Lesnar, followed by the Divas triple threat. Because I don't think Shane versus The Undertaker, in terms of wrestling, is going to be that great. But storyline-wise, I want to see where it goes.
Yep, I agree. But, yeah.
Wrestling.
Fun week. Wrestling. But,
yeah, and you had, second kid and all that.
Yeah. Had a second kid on Tuesday, the 22nd, which was one day after my son's birthday on the 21st. Evan Nicole. So maybe she'll be on the show one day.
AKA WrestleMania.
AKA WrestleMania.
Tim and I were going to go to WrestleMania this year, but then decided to have another kid.
Sorry, my
now
bad.
I can see Shinsuke Nakamura in person, so...
Hi.
Whatever.
But, yeah, so WrestleMania, 7 days away. I'm excited. Almost to this, hour as well. Yeah. In about 7 days exactly, we'll be watching WrestleMania. And then on Monday, at some point, we'll be back to discuss the fallout of WrestleMania and what we thought. And look back on our predictions of what we think was going to happen. And see how much we were correct or incorrect.
Exactly.
But if you guys aren't already, follow us on Twitch. Subscribe to our YouTube. We got some more good things coming once we can figure out how to do them. Because we messed up once. But I think we know what we're doing now. So it definitely won't happen again. But we might be starting like another weekly series that's only on YouTube, not on Twitch. All that stuff's down below. But WrestleMania, 7 days away. It's getting there. NXT TakeOver Dallas. It's like 5 days away. It's almost here.
Hey, best part of the week. It encompasses everything we've talked about today for the show. I think it'd be a good thing to go out on. The best part, Batman versus Superman. Batman does a rock bottom
Yes.
to a bad guy.
It was awesome. You should go see it.
10.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Go check out Batman v Superman and check out WrestleMania on Sunday. If you don't have the WWE Network right now, I think it's free. If you've never been subscribed before. Also, if you use like a different email address and a different credit card, it's free. Just saying.
Yep.
But join us next Monday before Raw. We'll be going live at some point to discuss WrestleMania Fallout and hopefully maybe talk about Raw a little bit for next week.
Yeah.
Until then, you guys, stay tuned.